You're live.
All right, we're live. I'm going to call this meeting of the East Gloucester Veterans Memorial School Building Committee to order. And the meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with the state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 10 people. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. And Maria, could we have a roll call for, actually, Christopher, could we have a roll call for attendance?
Pope. Did you hear me? Sorry. Jonathan Pope?
Yeah, here.
Oh, thanks. Richard Sapphire? I didn't see him. Greg Catamatori?
Here.
Thank you. Kathy Clancy?
Yep.
Thank you. Donna?
Here.
Thank you. John Dunn?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Gary Frisch?
Yes.
Thank you. Matt Fusco?
Here.
Thank you. Grant Harris?
Present.
Thank you. Joe Lucido?
Here.
Thank you. Ben Lummis?
Present.
Thank you. Jameson Manning? I think I saw him. Ryan Marks? I don't think he was there. Amy Pasquarello?
Here.
Thank you. Adam Roselle?
Here.
Okay, thank you. And Katie Eunice?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Jonathan, could I quickly just introduce a few new people to the
Yes,
group?
yes, please do, Tom.
Okay. We've got a couple people that are been added to our team internally. So I'd like to introduce Mark Lydon. I don't know. I think a couple people may be showing up as Chris Tremblay because of he may have forwarded the. So we have 3 Chris Tremblays. So this is like to tell the truth game, you know.
I get triple credit.
Who's the real Chris Tremblay? But so
we're all trying to be like Chris.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. So we got Mark Lydon, who's he's waving right there. Mark is senior project director with us. He's working with actually Jonathan Rich and his team on the Beverly Police Station. So Chris knows Jonathan very well and his team. And he's helping, they're helping the team put together the DD submission, the review. We'll talk a little bit later. And then we got Brian Hromadka there. Brian, you want to wave just so people know which Chris Tremblay you are not.
Hello, everyone.
And so Brian's joining our team. He's a registered architect and helping with the design review as well and putting some packages together. So anyway, so I just wanted to introduce them so people start seeing their faces and names and know why they're on this group. So anyway, so we'll go from there. Do you want me to start sharing my screen, Jonathan,
Pardon me?
do you want me to share screen for the PowerPoint start, or do you want to?
Well, we got the minutes. I'm
Okay.
looking for the minutes, and I have the agenda, but it
was in the meeting packet that came out yesterday.
yesterday.
It was sent by
Yeah.
It was sent by who?
the Chris Tremblay.
The real Chris Tremblay.
Jonathan, I just forwarded it to you.
Okay. All right. Anyways, do we have a motion to accept the meeting minutes of February 11th, 2021?
So moved.
Somebody says so moved.
Second.
Okay.
Kathy Clancy and Grant Harris second.
Okay. Are there any corrections or omissions? Michelle's not here, right?
Michelle made a minor correction to the elevator enlargement size. So I didn't redistribute that, but I can make that.
Okay, the correction, as I believe, was it was the elevator that was designed met code, but it was going to be changed because of a request by the fire department. Is that correct, Chris?
That's correct.
So that would be a correction.
She was defending her honor there a little bit.
Yes, yes, as always, as she should.
Yep.
Are there any other corrections or omissions? Seeing none, Chris, could we have a roll call vote to accept the minutes of February 11th?
Yes. Jonathan Pope,
Yes,
thank you. Greg Kramertori,
Yes.
thank you. Kathy Clancy,
Yes.
thank you. Donna Compton,
Yes.
thank you. John Dunn,
Yes.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Yes.
thank you. Matt Fusco,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
thank you. Joe Lucido,
So I was not present for the meeting.
okay, I'll
abstain.
abstain. Yep. Ben Lummis,
Yes.
thank you. Amy Pascarello,
Yes.
thank you. Adam Roselle,
Yes.
thank you. And Katie Eunice,
Yes.
thank you.
So, okay, now I can't see the agenda. Here, there it is. We'll move on to the invoices. And we have two invoices, one from Doran Whittier for the invoice number 22 for the amount of $363,529.07. Okay, and I so move.
Second.
Okay. Do you want to just give an explanation of this, Tom? Somebody sent me the packet, but it's just
Sure.
the agenda.
Yeah, it's, most of it is for the, getting to the DD package, getting to, close to the, sorry about that. Getting close to the submission package at the end of this month. And then there's a,
Call from
They've-
Leominster.
they've been working on the, sorry here.
We've lost you, Tom.
So
On your mute.
I can fill in on this. So what it is really, it's a progress billing for us going through design development. So, we're going to have these, the larger ones for us are going to continue right up until we start building, and then we'll see them kind of slow down a little bit. But for right now, this is the design development phase, basically spread across 4 months, I believe.
Okay. All right. Is there any questions?
I don't know, I just brought that up if you can see that.
Okay.
So most of that is the design development piece, and then there's a little bit for the early site package there and some reimbursable expenses for printing. Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Any comments? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I can't see everybody, so you'll just have to speak up because I can't.
So can Chris do a
Or
roll
you can
call?
use the raise hand button. But I was seeing no discussion. Chris, could we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Jonathan Pope,
Yes.
thank you. Richard Sapphire,
Yes.
thank you. Greg Kramertori,
Yes.
thank you. Kathy Clancy,
Yes.
thank you. Donna Compton,
Yes.
thank you. John Dunn,
Yes.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Yes.
thank you. Matt Fusco,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
thank you. Joe Lucido,
Yes.
thank you. Ben Lummis,
Yes.
thank you. Amy Pascarello,
Yes.
thank you. Adam Roselle,
Yes.
thank you. And Katie Eunice,
Yes.
thank you.
It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And we have an invoice from W.T. Rich for the amount of $15,000 $412.
Right.
And I so move.
Second.
Okay. As once again, this is,
You can see here, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Previous invoices, current and bill to me. They're basically doing it 15,412 a month during the pre-con phase. So that's a flat rate that you'll see that every month.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Any comments? Okay, seeing none. Chris, could we have a roll call vote?
Jonathan Pope,
Yes.
thank you. Richard Sapphire,
Yes.
thank you. Greg Kettermatori,
Yes.
thank you. Kathy Clancy,
Yes.
thank you. Donna Compton,
Yes.
thank you. John Dunn,
Yes.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Yes.
thank you. Matt Fusco,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
thank you. Joe Lucido,
Yes.
thank you. Ben Lummis,
Yes.
thank you. Amy Pasquarello,
Yes.
thank you. Adam Roselle,
Yes.
thank you. And Katie Eunice,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, it passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to swing space update. Is it going to be John Dunn or is it going to be?
Yeah, John can start.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, technical difficulties. All right, so as far as the swing space goes, we're in pretty good shape. I had hoped to talk to Father Jim prior to this meeting, but we've kind of missed each other a little bit, so I'll probably try that, try and get back to that tomorrow. So as far as the swing space goes, we've identified issues with the building that we believe that the archdiocese or the local parish has to deal with. They have pretty much agreed with all of those issues, and they will either deal with them with their own contractors, or we might be able to do some of the work through our DPW folks, as long as we're able to do that probably prior to the end of June. If we do the work internally, then there will be an adjustment for the rent. But it looks like we should be in reasonable shape. The way the proposal came in, it was for a 24-month period, beginning on May 1st of 2021. In fact, we were already renting space for the storage of furniture, so we technically can get into the building as soon as we actually sign the lease agreement. I am hoping that the lease agreement will be signed very early in April, so we should have sufficient time, I hope, to get all of the work done and then allow for the movement of the rest of the materials from veterans into the swing space. So I think we're in reasonably good shape. Hope to have the lease signed fairly soon, and we'll be able to get all of the work done between now and or very shortly and September 1st. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything I didn't cover?
I'd say the only thing that I'd like to add is if we were speaking with Matt just before about getting over to meet with him and do the existing furniture assessment. Oh, here we go again. Sorry. So,
Yes, and that needs to be done. So I will, Matt, maybe you and I can talk offline tomorrow so that we can arrange a time next week to get in.
Yeah, I currently have a key right now, and I've reached out to Father Jim, so
Okay,
you know, I can just text him and get over if I need to.
yeah, he's pretty easygoing as far, as long as we let him know when we're gonna get in, he doesn't seem to have any problem with that.
Yep.
And John,
you may have said it, I might have missed it. Obviously, we're all concerned about timeline here. Do you feel, or other folks who are part of the project team, that we're in good shape here on the timeline with St. Anne's and getting that all to go, at least as far as we can know at this point? If things change, obviously, I get that.
As far as we know at this point, Ben, I think we're in pretty good shape. I mean, you know, could something always go sideways? Absolutely. But it seems like they're doing the things on their end that they need to do. And again, you know, Matt's going to be kind of a linchpin here in terms of figuring out what the furniture that's crammed into those spaces now, what he needs and what he doesn't need. And the stuff that he doesn't need, we need to get out of the building. So, you know, as long as that stuff can move along, I think we're in good shape. Yes.
Great. Thank you. That's good news.
Okay, then.
All right.
Then we'll move on to the schedule update.
Okay. So, yeah, I think what I'd like to do is maybe have Bill and or Mark kind of give an update of kind of what our team's been doing in this area here, kind of what's happening now and what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if Michelle's been able to join us too, so she might be able to chime in a little bit, but to give you an update of kind of what's happening currently with the whole team. So
I can start a little bit, Tom. And again, it's my pleasure to be now part of the team. Looking forward to assisting in a great project delivery. So anyways, the design development estimating package has been provided to the estimators on both the W.T. Rich team, as well as the estimators that were hired by Duran Whittier. And then the CBRE Theory estimators also have the package, although their role is a little more limited to assisting and commenting on the reconciliation. So the estimates are due to be shared amongst the team members on Monday. There'll be a reconciliation process amongst the design estimator, CM estimator, OPM estimator, and the key consultant players on Wednesday. That'll probably take a reasonable portion of the day. And at the end of that time frame, we'll have at least a preliminary idea as to where we are with respect to the approved construction budget. And then, as is often the case, it's been shared in the working group, not sure how much with the building committee, but similar to the VE, value engineering process you all went through at the end of the design, you know, it's likely that we'll do that again. So we're prepared for that. So at the building committee meeting on the 18th, next week, we'll be able to present to you the more or less the reconciled estimate and the pathway that we believe there is in the event we need to take value engineering action to get the project back at or under the approved construction budget. So the design's progressing. The early package for the site enabling work will be issued, I believe it's the end of March. So you know, we'll get some people out there doing some work as soon as possible after August 1st.
Okay, any questions on the reconciliation and the budget presentation?
did Michelle jump in? I don't know if she had any thoughts on kind of what's happening on the design team side.
Hi, sorry. No, I think you covered it very well, Mark. We've just been moving along, coordinating with the team and the consultants, and I think we've issued a couple of updates to the pricing set, and we're looking forward to the reconciliation next week.
Again, one thing I did forget to mention is that OPM team, some of our in-house people and some of our actual design engineers have also been provided the DD package for them to go through and make comments. So we will have probably similar to what was done at the SD phase, a reasonable number of comments to help assist the designers, address them, and work towards a more complete 60% construction document set. And just so you have heard it, the 60% CDs, I believe, are due roughly July 1st. So it's going to come upon us rather quickly.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Is there anything else on the schedule that we need to talk about, Tom?
No, I just think here, these are the key dates. The last one is the presentation to city council and school committee on April 1st. So that's still,
Right.
yeah.
Right. That will be, we'll be developing an agenda for that, but it'll be limited to just the presentation on the school and associated issues around the school. But so we'll develop that within the next week or so.
Okay.
In conjunction with the council president. So we'll move on to the materials finishes subcommittee updates.
So, yeah, so Michelle, I don't know if you
Michelle?
have something you want to take over control.
No, since our last meeting, we don't have any updates because we've gone out for pricing with all of the information that we've had. One question that we've had a request to show the traffic simulation. And so we've done the update on that, but we don't know where you want to post it. We thought it was on the school website, but when I click that link, it doesn't actually move. So perhaps Grant and I can work on a way to get the traffic simulation onto your school website. Other than that, we've been looking at we do want to talk about the proprietary list.
Okay, I'll bring that up right now.
So this is the list of items that have been included in the, whoops.
Michelle, I'm sorry, it's kind of, it's kind of hard to hear you. Is it possible if you get closer to a mic or speak up?
Is this better?
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay, sorry.
Here we go.
There we go. So this list of proprietary items, so if the highlighted part here shows that this item here is going to be put into the design development binder when we submit that. And so what you're seeing here highlighted is that we are presenting this list to you for your review and any discussions that you might have. Our goal here is to limit the number of proprietary items that we have within the package, but we also want to be sure that anything that we need to be proprietary, as you'll see as we go through this, that you're actually aware of why it needs to be proprietary and the fact that we've included it in the design development. So some of these, you may not even know that they were proprietary items, but through our research, we have found that for one reason or another, there are not 3 equal products. Sometimes there are 2, but not 3. And even if there's only 2, that means that they're going to be included as proprietary. So thermal insulation, product, mineral wool, and rain screen wall assemblies. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to read through all of this since the list was issued, and if you have questions or if you want me to go item by item.
I think if you just give an overview of kind of what they are and why they need to be proprietary, I think would be important. So.
Sure. So the paragraph there is telling you why it needs proprietary to be the product for mineral wool there. And a lot has to do with the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Assemblies, and whether or not the product's been tested to meet certain assemblies. So in this particular case, there's 2 manufacturers of mineral wool that meet the assembly that we need. And so because of that, this is a proprietary item.
Yeah. And the other item that's important is that it's made to be used in a somewhat wet environment. You want to talk a little bit about that and why that type of product is applicable?
Sure. So a rain screen is actually an outside layer. When you see the metal panels that we have, they're actually rain screens. So there's a space between the building structure and the back of the metal panels, and that actually is a channel for water to come down and hit the ground. So that actually is what we call a rain screen. And so these products are made for that specific, those kinds of locations. It's typical construction for these types of buildings.
Okay, so there's two products right there.
Correct.
And so you don't care which one is used, but it's just those are the only two that meet the requirements of the design.
That's correct.
Okay.
And so under the next one, this is a similar situation. You know, this is the thermal insulation, and this is the insulation that you see around exterior walls and the weather barrier protection pieces. And again, this all has to do with the NFPA testing. So there might be other items out there that would meet the qualifications that we have, but only certain items are tested and meet the NFPA. So this is what we need in public buildings to meet.
That's the last part of that section.
Yeah.
This is
So I'm not going to read all of this to you. You have the information so that, you know, if you don't have, if you haven't read it already and you have questions the next time, we certainly have time to go through these.
Yeah. There will be Michelle, you may want to say, eventually there will be a formal vote
That's correct.
of these proprietary items when we get further down into the design, because that's required to declare something proprietary in accordance with the Mass General Law. So anyway.
We like to have that completely wrapped up prior to well, we have to have it prior to going to bid. So that will be somewhere between 60 and 90% complete.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, these are the items that we're tagging in our pricing set. And if we find other items through some of our research, we will certainly take these off the list. So Schlage locks, cylinders, keys, Von Duprin, and exit devices. These are proprietary because this is what the district is looking for. And I think I saw Joe Lucido on the line here. So these are required because this is what is in all of your other school buildings. So having this consistent throughout the district is very important. It reduces the amount of stock that you have to keep. It allows you to fix these with a lot more consistency, and it also helps with the keying. So you're not, you know, handing out Schlage keys for one school and a different kind of set of keys for a different kind of school. And the same for the hardware and exit devices. Joe, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but this is, you know, a request by the city, which these are pretty common to have hardware
normal,
specified
right
by the city.
Okay.
Your glazing product, school guard glass. So currently we have only found 2 products that actually meet the same quality as school guard glazing, and yet and only one of them is made locally and has been used in other schools in the district. So this is where we go with school guard as being proprietary for most of the buildings that we're doing here around the state. I think you've all seen the information that we've had on that. Here I'm asking for school guard glass of G4 as well as G5 to be accepted. Right now we're only pricing for G4. The 5 is a higher rating. We don't think we're going to need any of that, but right now we want to just make sure that we've included it in our requests. And that's all the safety glass that you have around your vestibules and your windows. Solera and Okalux. So, and I apologize for this highlighted area. This has been updated. So where we're looking for glass that diffuses natural sunlight, so it's not creating the glare. This would be in the gymnasium, in the media center, in the art room, and in what we call Main Street, that main corridor as you come in with the sky, with the clear story lighting. So this highlighted yellow area is not correct, though it's not going in classrooms. So this kind of glass reduces the glare, which is really important if you're playing in a gymnasium. You want to make sure that you're not shooting a hoop right into the daylight. It reduces a lot of the glare that comes through the windows in the skylight in the clear stories, as well as for the orientation of the art room. In addition to that, it diffuses the light, so it takes the light and bounces it deeper into the room. So especially in like the gymnasium, where we have a long side, but only one side has windows, you're taking the daylight and diffusing it and bouncing it deeper into that space than you would have with regular glass or glazing. Right now, there's only 2 products on the market that meet all the qualifications that we have, and that is Solera or Okalux. And I think Solera is, Solera is our basis of design, but we have accepted Okalux Plus as an equal.
So Michelle, what, for the record, when we issue this as part of the meeting minutes, what will we?
I'll
can you-
update that. Yeah.
You'll update it and it just be, so that I just want the committee to understand what is going to be changed from this so that when it goes in the record, it is correct.
It says that it's going to be in the classrooms and it won't be in classrooms.
So you will just basically be deleting this piece and that, and so you'll talk about where it is in the gym and the other rooms.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we will put that in the record and reissue this as part of the meeting record for next meeting minutes. Okay, thank you.
The next one, we've had a lot of discussion in-house about this particular one, and so right now it is on our proprietary list. We're looking into ways of taking this one off the list. But Canaf Ecos and Acoustics Texana are 2 acoustical panels that are applied to the walls, and our requirement is that they meet LEED indoor air quality. You know, most of the products out there do meet the ASTM E84, which is one of our measurements, but most of them don't meet the LEED indoor air quality requirements. And so because of the LEED credits that we're looking for on this building, we are requesting that these 2 be proprietary. There is a chance that there might be another product out there. We're looking into all the specifications, and if we do find that that product does meet all of our requirements, we will take this off the list. But for right now, in the pricing set, we've included both of these as proprietary.
So could you briefly just say what ASTM E84? ASTM is the American Society for Testing Materials, and they have all these standards for products. So what's E84 in general? Is that a fire rating or is it a?
It's an acoustical
rating
level, an acoustical
Okay.
level rating.
Okay, so it's a tested, again, everything you're putting in there is tested to some standard, and that's what this standard is for acoustic absorption, I guess. Okay.
That's correct. And
Okay.
so, you know, if you were to, as we noted in that last bullet, if you were to try to assemble these acoustical panels on site, you probably would not get the same kind of acoustical quality that we would be wanting in spaces like the gymnasium. I think you've seen the acoustical wall panels that we've included in some of the elevations, some of those high volume spaces, the music room, those kinds of spaces really have to meet some acoustical qualities for reverberation of the noise.
Yeah.
So we really do need to make sure that we're meeting that. And then on top of that, we need to make sure we're going to meet our LEED credits with the indoor air quality for these products.
Okay, good. Thank you.
A Knox box, another one, this is pretty typical. Most fire departments require Knox box. It is the go-to for department key boxes. You see them around most public buildings. We call them quick boxes sometimes. Excuse me. It's where public safety will store keys or plans. This has been a request out of the fire department that we use Knox. They are one of the few products that, I mean, most fire departments use Knox. So that's not uncommon. And the fire protection notifier, this is some information that the fire chief has sent to us to include as proprietary within the building to meet all of his standards, which are there for building code, the 9th edition, and he has some other standards on as you scroll down there.
That's a radio-based fire
Yeah.
department communication system. Yeah.
Plumbing fixtures. Yes, we would like to remove this from the list. And we've had some conversations with Joe about this, and we believe that we've come to an agreement that we could remove some of the requested plumbing fixtures from being proprietary. We will put into our specifications the basis of design, the request that Joe has made for certain fixture types, and we will make sure that we try to get those. But I think you also reported, go ahead, Joe. Okay. We're going to meet Joe's request for having there. He did come up with 3 that we can have on within our specs, and he would like to have the basis of design as American standard. We also have some fixtures that he's requested to be basis of design, and we will have other equal fixture types that will be our equals, but we don't want to go proprietary in that category. And then I think this is the final one, communications. This is a list, and I see that Grant is on here. So Grant has sent us, oops, scroll down, there we go. Grant has sent us a list of communication devices so that they coordinate with the technology that is in the other buildings within the district. And these are important that all the communications pieces can talk between each of the buildings and with the systems that you already have in place. So again, it's not unusual to see communication request as proprietary items. And Grant, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, or if this list is complete.
There's 1 or 2 small items that I don't see on there, but that's something I can work with you offline. It was just a couple, like for the bell and clock systems, but they're just little sneaky things. But
Okay.
yeah, that's the basic. We did the same thing with the West Parish build out, and it's the same, almost exactly the same list as we had over there. So.
Right. So if the bell and clock, we can add that to this list and make sure that it gets included in our next round of pricing as well then.
Correct.
So I think this is the end of the list. And, if you have any questions, feel free to shout them out. Raise your hand, or I can see most people here, I think. Again, that is the list that went in with our pricing set. So the price that we get on March 17th will reflect that list of proprietary items. But as we move forward, we will continue to do research to try to reduce the number of list items that we have for proprietary reasons, because they raise costs, obviously.
Yeah.
Any questions? I don't see anybody. I can't see everybody. So once again, perhaps just speak up if you have a question. Not hearing any, so.
Okay.
Do we want to move on to?
Sure. I think the last item is communication and community engagement.
Well,
Yeah.
we got the salvage list. Do we want to talk about that? Is there anything to
Okay.
talk about?
Well,
It's-
for the salvage list, the list is in our Google Docs right at the moment. I do need some feedback about who is going to be responsible for small items coming off the walls, things like the trowel over at Veterans, or, pictures and paintings that are important. I do need to know who's going to take those off the walls and store them. If we want them in our contract documents, we should have that checked on the list.
Michelle, I sent you an email earlier today, seeing if you and I could meet about, I know you sent me a bunch of questions with lots of details in it a little while ago. I'm not sure if you've been able to chance to see my email, but I was hoping you and I could meet tomorrow, or have a phone call tomorrow to go through those specific details.
Sure, I can make time to do that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll send you a message with some time, some of my availability.
Great. And just to fill the committee in on, have we shown, I can't remember if we've shown the salvage list to the group here, or is it? if it's in the-
Yeah.
We did.
yeah,
Amy and Matt went through the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can pull that up if you want from last time, but it's.
Well, if you could, while I'm just sort of explaining what Michelle and I are talking about, on the list, you'll see that there are very specific items, a trowel that was used in I think laying the cornerstone at veterans, and a painting, a commemorative plaque. And what Michelle's getting at is just we need to be very specific about where those will be and who will hold on to them, who will take them down in this case and store them, so they're not either discarded unintentionally, but also that we can get them back when we need to, in terms of if they're going to be placed in a certain spot or mounted or used in the design. And those are the types of details that Michelle and I will work out just operationally for the, and it's something we've been working on with the with both Amy and Matt. And we've also shared it with the school committee, and they've shared it with their school staff. But that sort of thing. So we'll have a conversation more about that in terms of just, but this is, again, just to show you again, I think you took this right out of the minutes, right?
Yeah, they're in the minutes from last week, or last month. Yeah.
So just to, I just want to just be clear about what Michelle and I were talking about.
Right. Yeah, I guess the question would be, Ben, whether there's a place at the district office that we could get these boxed up and placed for secure, or if there's some other place they need to go during the, in the meantime. I guess that's the question, is where.
Yeah, I think it's not really here. We could put them at Jonathan's office perhaps, but no, we'll figure out a safe, secure place.
Yeah.
Safe from the elements and that's well documented, so we can find them when we need them.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have to worry about East Gloucester yet. So, but okay. So there's 7 items plus the lights. So
great.
Okay.
Well, I think since this list too, I think you've added bricks as well. Correct?
Yeah, there are a couple things that have been added. One thing in particular that's come up just from one community member was about the bricks that are at East Gloucester, and making sure that or just figuring out what we'll exactly do with those, and whether or not they should actually remain at East Gloucester as part of either the memory to the East Gloucester School, or as because they're part and parcel of the East Gloucester community. But just so folks know, is that work about East Gloucester will be coming, okay, in terms of what to do with that site. This group isn't part of that process, and the city yet hasn't either determined or created a timeline yet for what happens with the East Gloucester site in terms of design and any necessary memorials or remembrances or mementos, that sort of thing.
So
but that is one thing we've added.
Ben, the bricks were on the list, but there are additional bricks that weren't laid in what's currently there.
Great. So that's the part of what we've got to work through, I think, right?
Right. So the bricks are on the list, but there are more than what are currently laid out. We have 3 boxes that I've located in the shed.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. So even more that were sort of donated or
Yeah. So this was a project prior to me coming, and they coming to Gloucester, and they're beautiful, and they have people's names engraved in them, and there's a nice little patio of bricks. But then there were additional ones that weren't laid down, and I want to make sure those are included as well.
Great. Yeah. And that's the sort of thing that we have to explore about. Does it make more sense to have those stay at that site or come over to the new site? And that's just, that's all, like I said, work in progress. But Michelle, obviously you guys need to know that. So that in particular, that decision about whether they remain at one place or go to another will have to be made relatively quickly.
Right. And I think the bricks that are not on this list are the bricks from veterans. So I think I think there was a request to include some of the building bricks on the site in some.
Oh, yeah,
manner.
right. That's right. I forgot those.
Yeah, and so
And-
we have to decide what that is and where they go and how big an area we want to include with those bricks.
So that will be VMS 8.
Yeah, well, Ben has already added it to the updated list.
Okay, okay. All right.
Okay. Was there anything on site safety that we wanted to talk about? It's on the agenda.
No, that may have been a little bit left over from last month because we did
I-
have a presentation. So I don't know if there's anything else. to
I can
follow
just
up.
let you know that we've followed up with the fire chief, Chief Smith, earlier today, and we talked about the routes around the entire building and all of the safe access around the building for the fire department. And I have a meeting scheduled on Monday to go through a similar exercise with the police department.
Okay. Communications, community engagement. Ben?
Oh, not too much on this. Right now, we'll be giving a more thorough update to the school committee at our next meeting. It's on the 24th, which we've laid out from earlier. This month is really focused on the building committee meetings for the reasons described earlier in the meeting about design development and getting that package ready, and then looking at the estimates and any reconciliation. But as the weather gets warmer, we're likely to have a forum for specifically for the veterans families, so to give them update on the swing space in St. Anne's and that process, and that'll be most likely in April for those families, because of course they're going to be moving to a new location at St. Anne's, and we want to make sure they are aware of that, understand what it means for their children, and get some insight onto how it's going to happen. But that'll be in April. And then maybe as we get further down design development, look for a public forum, probably also in April too, somewhere around on either side of the April break to give the larger community an update on how things are going. Yeah, for now.
Well, as I said, the joint school committee city council meeting will be a full presentation on the progress. So I mean that may be the basis to sometime in April to have another community engagement forum. We had talked about doing that sometime at the end of March, but I think April's going to be more appropriate.
Yeah, especially because and having so many building committee meetings this month, I think that's more realistic for the whole group here.
Okay. Well, that concludes the items on the agenda. Is there anything else that we need to bring up before we adjourn? I can't see.
Don't
something
see
happened.
anybody with their hand up.
Okay, well, in that case, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
You guys like hanging out together?
I apparently. Chris, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Jonathan Pope,
Yes.
thank you. Richard Sapphire,
Yes.
thank you. Greg Kettermatori,
Yes.
thank you. Kathy Clancy,
Yes.
thank you. Donna Compton,
Yes.
thank you. John Dunn,
Yes.
thank you. Gary Frisch,
Yes.
thank you. Matt Fusco,
Yes.
thank you. Grant Harris,
Yes.
thank you. Joe Lucido,
Yes.
thank you. Ben Lummis,
Yes.
thank you. Amy Pasquarello,
Yes.
thank you. Adam Roselle,
Yes.
thank you. And Katie Eunice.
Yes.
Thank you. All set.
Thank you very much, everybody, and enjoy spring, which has arrived today, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no idea what happened to this meeting.